Welcome to the wonderful world of teaching. For anyone interested in becoming a teacher or a teacher who's maybe hit a slump, my hope is to share classroom tips and tricks to help you find magic along the way. Welcome to Hi, I'm Hannah, and today I wanted to just talk a little bit about the importance of classroom management. Classroom management is something that we spend a lot of time in our credential program. I don't know about you, but I learned about Maria Montessori, play-based learning, Vygotsky, also Maslow, so many different. Classroom management is something that we spend a lot of time in our credential program. I don't know about you, but I learned about Maria Montessori, play-based learning, Vygotsky, also Maslow, so many different theories around classroom management. And what I've learned is at the end of the day, students want to feel safe in your classroom. They want to feel like they have an opportunity to be successful. And sometimes having a safe space also means that outbursts or frustration can come out in misbehavior. And so one thing that I always think about when it comes to classroom management is you've got a group of kids, all different personalities, and each day is very different. So even if Sweet Susie comes in and she's, the angel of the class, she's the rule follower, you gotta give her grace. Some days she's gonna come in and not always be positive. Or sometimes when students are absent, it changes the vibe of the classroom. And having a plan is so important. So with that, also knowing that it's okay to change things up a little bit. Routine is important. Having predictable routines can help students feel safe. The consistency provides structure for them. They know what's expected. Oftentimes students are thrown off when there's a surprise. Now we all know we love surprises. Surprises can be fun. But when routines are disrupted and students aren't aware of why they're disrupted, that can cause stress and anxiety. And we see it a lot in our classrooms these days, students feeling overwhelmed, having outbursts, misbehavior. And so that's something to really be mindful of. It really is important to keep the structure and routines. But we also know that we go in with the best intentions as a teacher, and sometimes our routines and our procedures aren't being followed by students. And this is a great time to reflect as a teacher. You have to sometimes match the vibe of the classroom. And what I've learned is sometimes there's years where you'll get students and they love routines. Not everybody, but the majority. And typically how the class majority goes is kind of how you manage the class. You're supporting that, and of course you're supporting students that maybe need a little bit extra, but it's important to match the vibe. So recognize that this classroom management strategy that you're really good at might need to be tweaked a little bit the following year with the group of students that you have. And that's okay. It's okay to change things up a little bit. It helps you feel excited about trying something new and seeing students being successful, because classroom management isn't about control. And I think that's what we're taught a lot in our credential program. I think it's also just human nature is wanting to control things. And when things starts escalating and we feel out of control as an educator, that's when we kind of burst, or our emotions get the best of us, or sometimes we just hold it in so much that we're exhausted by the end of the day. And so it's really about being clear, having that clarity for your students. We have these routines because it's okay to explain to students why we do things the way we do things. I think that they can understand that it's important to put things away, because if we don't, someone could trip. We don't want anyone to trip because we care about our students in our classroom. Obviously, I'm talking about elementary students with that example, but I think middle school and high school students too, they need to know the reasons why we push in our chairs. And it's also just good behavior. Like that's when you're done with something, you put it away. I know that there's often talk or frustrations that teachers, we shouldn't be teaching kind of social skills or manners for students. And I think, why not? Our classroom requires that. I mean, typically if we want our students to treat each other well, we want that kind of safe, kind community in our classroom, we need to teach students how to behave. And I think that that's often like, well, it's somebody else's responsibility, they should know how to do this. And sometimes I just chuckle inside, because that's what it means to be a teacher, is really exposing, hey, you may not know how to do this, let me help you, let me show you a better way to do this. And that's not just academically. I know when I was going through my credential program, the whole child was the big thing. So while I loved the academic part of becoming a teacher, is like the learning, and there's so many things to learn and to share. There's also that social, emotional aspect that students also need support with. They need help with that too. And I think as educators, that's what we're called to do, is to help the child in a holistic view and be able to make sure that they're being successful. So again, classroom management, so much theory. I know I've talked about theory and things not working. And so what are some ways, what are some things to take away from this video? Because it is a series, and I'll go over some different sparks, because my hope is that it will spark something and you'll be able to take something away from it. One thing is the first 10 minutes of your classroom. This is an important and critical component, is how does your classroom start off? How are you greeting your students when they come in the door? Is it just everyone comes in and it's wild and crazy and nobody knows where anything is? I feel like that first 10 minutes really dictates the rest of the day. If there's not a procedure for where things go, where to ask or when to ask questions, what to do, you are losing control. And like I said, it's not about control, it's about having routines and systems and structure. So structure versus control is what we really want to focus on when we are planning classroom management. The other thing to be mindful of is those routines and systems. Where do students find things? Where do they put things away? How quickly are things moving through? Because that transition time is also going to be what can take up so much. Where do I put this? Where does this go? So instead of having quick routines, hey, this is the song that's on, or this is the sound that I'm hearing, it's time to move on to the next activity. If I don't have that routine nailed down, then it can take extra time out of my day. It can cause me to feel overwhelmed and over emotional, kind of holding in, because I'm like, you want to be professional with your students, but sometimes emotions rise up. We're humans. So that's something also to be mindful of. First 10 minutes, that was the first one. Next one is routines and systems. The other thing is behavior. Behavior, I think I've used every kind of behavior system, I feel like. I'm sure there's new ones that have been created, but when I was a substitute teacher, I spent a little over 2 years in many classrooms, and so I've learned from other teachers different management and behavior management tips. There's pulling the card. Definitely not my favorite as a perfectionist. I feared the pulling of cards. There's the clip chart. I did use that one when I was a first year teacher. There's points on the board, groups, if you have table groups, awarding points for table groups. So managing behavior is important. And before you do anything, before it's a clip chart, before it's name on the board, whatever it is, having those expectations of behavior is critical. Students need to know what you expect of them, and they should be a part of that discussion at the beginning of the year or any time you're going over it, which I suggest talking about behaviors at the beginning of the day, especially, redefining them after any long break, because there's a lot going on. Students are coming back to a routine that they're not used to. They've been away on break. And so Student behavior is something else to be mindful of. It's frustrating when you're dealing with it in the moment. And so having some cues or things to tell yourself in that moment, because oftentimes misbehavior isn't just a student acting out or angry at you. It's usually something else. It can be boredom, it could be not feeling challenged, it could be something at home that they're dealing with. Rarely is it actually the thing that's going on in the classroom. Attention seeking. And so we do need to deal with that, and I will suggest that when you are dealing with it, that it is kind of private or pulled to the side, because nobody likes to be kind of humiliated or, hey, so-and-so, this is, you're in trouble for this, and being pointed out their misbehavior in front of all of their peers, because then that does start to kind of create a narrative for that student. Well, I'm just the bad kid, so I'm just going to continue to act like this because this is what's expected of me. And while we may not break that cycle, the year that the student's in our class, we can do things to not feed into that, because I do believe that all students can be successful. And I think as teachers, it's our job to make sure that our students are successful in our classroom, whatever skills they come in with and whatever behaviors they come in with. So I hope you'll join me for this series, the Spark series on classroom management, and find some takeaways for how you can implement them, or just reflect on your practice, your current practices in your classroom. If you like this video, please make sure to like. You can share it with anyone else that might be in a similar situation, and feel free to comment below if there's anything that you're struggling with in classroom management or something that you took away from today's video. Thanks so much, and I'll see you at the next one.